And your first job was then at Procter and Gamble.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a pretty big company to start with.
It was, and I actually had a few different job offers. So I had a job offer at L'Oreal, P&G, and M&C Saatchi. And the reason I picked P&G was actually it was based on the fact that it was this big global company. It wasn't necessarily the sexiest company, but for me, it was really important to go into a place that invested in people. And one of the things that I knew about P&G was they recruited from within. So part of their philosophy was growing and building capability, building up talent, investing in training. And I knew I was early on in my career, and I wanted to have the best training grounds. So I was really lucky because my first assignment in P&G happened to be in prestige products. So I got the combination of the sexy side of the business, but also a great company to work for as well. I was put in a brand at the time. It was Hugo Boss, and a few other fashion fragrances like Ghost. And I was told, right, here's a budget of 15 million, get on with it. And it was really one of these environments where you were really given responsibility very early on. And for me, it was a really interesting time because we'd just acquired a whole portfolio of new brands. And so I was working within this big company, and yet at the same time there was this slightly entrepreneurial white space environment because we'd got all these new businesses, we were integrating them. There were very few people on the team, so I got a huge opportunity to take on quite a lot, being fairly junior. And performance pays off because it's very meritocratic in those types of companies, and if you do well, you get rewarded.
You definitely went for one of the big organizations. There was always that thing that you wanted to work there. Why did you do that rather than kind of thinking about starting up on your own?
It was because I wanted to have the best training. And I think, it's really interesting. It very much depends on your personality and how you're set. But for me, what was really important was getting the best training. Also being in a place where you can max out the opportunities. These bigger organizations, they give you the opportunity to travel. I spent a few years working in Geneva, thanks to P&G, working in their global headquarters, so, creating global brands. I also had the opportunity to meet really interesting people because it was a big international organization. And that's something that I really enjoyed. Sometimes when you're working in smaller organizations, you're stuck with a few people. So I was really keen to meet lots of new people, learn a lot, and get the best opportunities for me long term. Because I think for me, I always knew that I could go into a smaller company later down. As a kind of traditional marketeer, for me, what I was looking for was great brands on my CV.
Tanya, was it the same for you?
Absolutely, yes. And now I am consulting on a couple of small brands. I feel like I'm equipped to do that. I think that my experiences along the way have taught me about all the different aspects of design. So it's being a senior designer, being a head of design is not just about the design process. It's about marketing, it's about branding, it's about managing budgets. There's so many different things involved. And I think that if I'd gone to work for a very small brand or set up on my own, back when I graduated, I probably wouldn't have had the skill set that I have now. That I think I would have struggled in certain areas. And now my breadth of knowledge means that the brands that I'm consulting on, I can help them with certain aspects that perhaps they don't have the knowledge or the experiences that I've had.